I'm Katrina Zisch with Howdini.com. Joining me is Ann Pleshette Murphy, parenting expert and the author of The 7 Stages of Motherhood. Welcome.
Thanks.
We're talking about obesity today. It's a problem that affects millions of Americans, and the problem seems to be growing, but this is something that is now starting with kids at a very early age. How do you prevent it?
Well, it's a huge problem. I mean, it's something that, first of all, is one of the #1 health threats to young children, because the rates of diabetes, what used to be called adult onset diabetes, is now called type 2 diabetes because it's so prevalent in children. So it's something that parents really have to pay attention to. You can't get rid of the junk food altogether, and it's probably not a good idea because you don't want to make it seem so special and so off limits that they really crave it even more. But that said, the most important thing is to not have food become a power struggle. You don't want mealtime to be a battle zone. You want it to be a pleasurable experience. And in fact, sitting down as a family is a very important and very effective antidote to obesity, because what studies have found is that families that eat together, first of all, they're talking. They are not eating as quickly. If you're watching the television, you tend to eat more. If you're sitting in a fast food restaurant, you tend to eat more than if you bring the food home and sit at your own dining room table. Yes, you're still maybe eating too many calories, but you're not going to eat as many.
Now, you said that you can't, of course, eliminate junk food altogether, but if you eliminate most of it from your home, how do you prepare your kids to go to school, to go to friends' houses where junk food may be much more prevalent? How do you get them to make the right choices when you're not there helping them?
Well, first of all, when they're old enough to make the choices themselves, they often are at the age where they love to be the experts about things. So in fact, you can do very simple things of sorting food by there are red light foods and green light foods and yellow light foods, and helping them understand what's healthy. One of the nice tricks you can do is you can get these plastic plates that are divided, and they actually usually are divided in half and then 2/4, and teach them that the half should be full of fruits and vegetables, that the other quarters should be evenly divided between carbohydrates and proteins. And even a 7, 8-year-old can begin to understand what those food groupings are and take a certain amount of responsibility for their own nutrition.
You're making portion control into a bit of a game.
Exactly. The more you can have fun with it, the more the message is that food is just one of the great sources of pleasure in life, and healthy food is the best kind of food we can do, that we need that for our bodies.
How much responsibility do parents have to prevent their children from becoming obese? You might see an overweight child and you think, oh, that kid eats too much, but how much of the blame really should be on the parent?
Well, frankly, most of the blame should be on the parent, but I don't really like even thinking about blame, because I think that it's a huge challenge for parents these days, because what they're up against, again, in terms of what is marketed to kids, is just staggering. Children see an average of 40,000 ads a year, most of them for junk food. So a parent who's up against that kind of bombardment has a tough time. There are lots of things you can do. You can, first of all, help kids become savvy consumers and question what they see on television or what they see online. The other thing is exercise is absolutely critical. So what you model becomes probably the most important tool that you can use to help your kids remain healthy.
How do you prevent all of this advice about healthy eating and exercise from going to the other extreme and causing an eating disorder?
Well, it's a great question. I mean, eating disorders are caused by a lot of different things, and there's no question that if food has been a source, again, of a power struggle, and if kids have felt that they need to take control over this, and then they do so in a way that's really not normal, so they become anorexic or they become bulimic, we know that there are lots of causes of that. It's really not mom or dad's fault if a child becomes bulimic or anorexic. It's very important, however, that even from an early age, that the message isn't about you're a good girl or a good boy for cleaning your plate. It's you must have been hungry, and getting them to pay attention to their own body signals.
Okay, excellent points all around. Thank you so much, Ann Pleshette Murphy, for joining us.
Thanks.